It's a well-known fact. Singaporeans aren't sleeping enough, and it's getting worse. A recent study showed in 2020, we got about 7 hours of sleep daily. Then in 2021, it's down to about 6 hours 50 minutes. That's far below the recommended amount of sleep for adults my age, which is between 7 to 9 hours. The same sleep survey also revealed that more than half of Singaporeans, 57% in fact, said that their ability to sleep well had been directly impacted by the pandemic. So, in this episode of Talking Point, I'm going to find out if our lack of sleep is affecting us more than we think and how we can fix it. Not only are Singaporeans sleep deprived, but it seems we also suffer from poor sleep quality. According to a 2016 Singapore mental health study, 27.6% of respondents reported poor sleep quality. I'm concerned what else that can do to our bodies. In the last 4 years, Dr. Han Hong Juan has seen about a 20% jump in patients suffering from poor sleep quality.
So we know that you need 7 to 9 hours of sleep. But if the sleep is poor, you keep waking up, you toss around in bed, then that is also going to affect you.
I've been told that I do grind my teeth in my sleep.
Yes.
I do feel like I get on average 6 to 7 hours of sleep a night. I'm not generally tired, but there are moments during the day I do feel a little bit fatigued.
Teeth grinding occurs in about 10 to 15% of the population, and it can affect the quality of your sleep. So the first order of business is, let's take a look at your teeth and let's look for any abnormal tooth wear that may be caused by teeth grinding. Shall we?
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Shada, please take a seat.
Dr. Han examines my teeth and sure enough, he finds evidence of teeth grinding. So that could be one reason why I wake up feeling tired despite getting the full 6 to 7 hours of sleep every day.
So what does the lack of sleep do to our body?
So lack of good quality sleep has long-term health consequences. Physically, it can lead to certain diseases, high blood pressure or hypertension, cardiovascular diseases like increased risks of heart attacks, strokes, development of diabetes, and unfortunately, an increased risk of cancer.
Wow, I never thought that a lack of sleep might lead to diabetes, cancer, or even a stroke. And if you think that's scary, well, I'm about to find out something that's even more alarming.
In January 2022, a Singapore mental health study was published online and made a link between sleep quality and mental health. One of the key researchers behind it, Li Yingying.
When one has lack of sleep, so it could really affect the brain, a part called amygdala. So amygdala is a part of the brain that regulates emotions in our bodies. So it regulates things like anger, anxiety, and fear. So when this part of the brain is affected, it could really affect the mood of someone, for example. So like the mental health could be affected and this could lead to depression. Studies shows lower amygdala activity associated with higher severity of depression symptoms. So in Singapore, about 1 in 4 residents, they reported having poor sleep.
Okay, so there's that direct relationship. Are some groups more affected by this than other groups?
Yeah, women are more likely to report having poor sleep.
Women,
Yes.
like you and I.
Yes.
Why is this so?
Could be due to hormonal changes across the lifespan of a woman, having the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, and even menopause. It could affect the sleep cycle of a woman.
I'm realizing how many physical and mental health issues are really linked to a lack of sleep, and that is very concerning for me. So how do I fix my sleep?
Right. So knowing your sleep pattern, knowing your body's rhythm, your chronotype, will be really helpful for you to maximize your sleep.
Chronotype. That defines the kind of sleepers we are. If we get up naturally early in the morning, we might be a morning lark. If we tend to stay up later and get up late, we might be a night owl. Our chronotypes are determined by our circadian rhythms. That's the daily rhythms that are generated by our body clock. For example, when we sleep and when we rise in a 24-hour cycle. So first things first, I need to know what my chronotype is. But I'm not doing this alone. I've roped in 2 others for my next experiment. Michelle's job means she gets just 4 to 5 hours of sleep a day. Jeremiah gets only 3 hours of sleep every day, thanks to his line of work. Helping us out with the experiment is sleep expert Professor Joshua Gooley, whose chronotype says he's a morning lark.
One thing that we can do is use a questionnaire to assess your chronotype. The other way that we can measure your chronotype is by using this device, an actigraphy watch. What I'd like you to do is wear this watch during both your waking hours as well as when you're asleep, and try to sleep naturally. Don't rely on an alarm clock. Try to follow your body's natural rhythm for sleep. And this will help me to determine what type of chronotype that you are.
Hi, I've been asked not to set any alarm for the next 2 days. I'm hoping to be able to sleep through till noon at least, so that I can focus better at work, because I have a lot of tasks that I need to work on for the following day.
I am gonna have 2 days of sleep without alarm waking me up. So I got a bit worried there because I might oversleep.
The 3 of us want to enjoy better sleep. Will finding out our chronotypes make a difference? For the past 2 days, myself, together with Michelle and Jeremiah, have been sleeping and waking up without any restrictions. We've gone to bed when we were ready and woke up naturally.
I went to bed like about 2 a.m. last night. I purposely did not put on an alarm, but I still woke up at 7 a.m. and I am really tired because I didn't have enough sleep.
I went to bed at 2:30 a.m. and it was really nice to wake up without my alarm, because usually I wake up to this beep, beep, beep. And today there was no alarm, so that's really nice.
With or without alarm, I am still waking up at that same timing. I have lesser sleep, so that it really causes headache in my brain.
This is all part of an experiment to find out what our chronotypes are. That's our natural sleep cycle. Figuring out our sleep patterns is the first step to figuring out what we need to do to get some decent shut-eye at night.
Chronotype is a reflection of your body's internal body clock. So the key is that your sleep behavior is timed appropriately with respect to your body clock. Now, to help illustrate that, we have this circadian/chronotype wheel. Okay? Wow. So what I'm going to do is put a marker down here for a typical bedtime, 11 p.m., and a typical wake-up time here at 7 a.m. So before you go to bed, that's typically when you start to release a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is a sleep-promoting hormone, so you want it to be released shortly before you go to sleep. And then once you fall asleep, you'll go into your deepest slumber about an hour and a half into the night. And then ideally, you'd sleep continuously until the morning hours. And then from that point onward, your melatonin levels have already started to fall, and they're at their lowest point shortly after the time that you would normally be waking up. And then for the rest of the day, your performance would essentially be high.
So what does 2 nights of unrestricted sleep tell us about our chronotypes individually?
As it turns out, your sleep behavior and Michelle's was quite similar. We found that you were both intermediate types, which means you're neither night owls nor are you early birds. So both of you were going to bed pretty close to 11 p.m. and then eventually waking up close to 7.
Professor, what are my results?
Your results indicate that you're a moderate evening type. So if we spin this wheel, your melatonin was probably rising after midnight. What's more interesting to me as a sleep researcher is that your sleep pattern shifted later on your free days, such that you're going to bed at around 5 in the morning, and then you're waking up at 10.
According to Jeremiah's chronotype, he should be getting to bed just after midnight, but he sleeps only at 2:30 a.m. on the days he has to work, and at 5 a.m. on days he doesn't. He's a night owl, but his sleep pattern isn't fully supporting his chronotype.
I do live streaming. I will engage audience between the midnight to the wee hours in the morning.
Now, what I noticed is that on your work days, you tend to be more structured. The work schedule actually helps you get a more regular sleep pattern, but on free days, you tend to sleep very late. I will say that your sleep behavior on free days and work days suggests that there's an opportunity to better align your rhythm.
I'm an admin support. We work on a 2-day work cycle, 2 days work, 1 day off. And on my free days, I am also still working because I am an artist and I paint.
In your case, Michelle, when you do have to work late, then you'll end up delaying the time that you try to go to sleep. But you will probably wake up at around the same time. You know, your internal body clock is telling you to wake up around 7 a.m. in your case. Then on those days where you have to work late, you're probably going to get less sleep.
Okay. And as for me, well, I am a host and an actress and a teacher, and my schedules are always irregular.
Based on your questionnaires, your bedtime and wake-up times seem to be at appropriate times for you in your chronotype.
Yeah.
I also noticed that you fall asleep within 10 minutes, which is generally a good sign. You seem to be doing what you need to do to look after your sleep health.
Earlier, I was told that I may not have good quality sleep because of my teeth grinding. But Professor Gooley revealed that my sleep routine is for the most part in sync with my chronotype, although my sleep-wake pattern can still be improved.
Thank you for coming up to support.
Jeremiah should try to go to bed earlier on his days off to try and align his sleep pattern with his chronotype. Michelle seems to have the biggest problem. Her irregular working hours means she can't go to bed when she's supposed to, and yet she'll wake up at 7 a.m. whether she intends to or not. To fix these sleep problems, Professor Gooley gave us some homework. Michelle has to detail all her work-related issues and concerns in a diary before getting into bed. Also, no work, emails, or TV in bed. Jeremiah must establish a regular sleep schedule on his days off. As for me, I have an irregular work schedule, so I'm going to try to maintain a regular sleep-wake pattern. This test feels very different. Our last sleep was uncontrolled. This is completely controlled.
Without the screen, it's a little tough going to bed. I tend to lie down in darkness, waiting for time to pass, which I felt was a little bit difficult to fall asleep.
And I'm about to discover surprising ways to get a good night's rest.
Wow, I never knew that this could help us sleep so well.
It's so magic, right?
It's been 1 week of structured sleep and some routine thrown in, all in the hopes of finally getting some good shut-eye.
I just have to cut down my live stream timing, my schedule to align my work days and my off days. I do sleep soundly after that.
Today, as you can see, I'm so refreshed. I'm so on point that I can have a productive day. As long as the bedtime habits are correct, I think that should be good.
We're back at Duke NUS to evaluate if our sleep patterns have improved.
So welcome back, everyone. It's been a week since we started monitoring your sleep-wake activity. So let's start with you, Sharda.
Well, you gave me 2 pieces of advice to follow, and rules really was to be consistent and to make sure that I keep a regular sleep pattern despite my irregular schedule. I think I did try my best to make sure I'm in bed about 10:30 so that I fall asleep about 11.
So moving on to Michelle, how did you do?
it was really good because once I penned down my thoughts, I didn't think much of it when I was sleeping, and I tried to instill that discipline in me not to go through like, social media and binge watch while in bed, go directly into bed. So it was a little challenging because there wasn't anything to make me feel sleepy, but I actually fell asleep in about half an hour to 1 hour.
Okay, that's very good to hear. And I will tell you that as I looked through your sleep record, I could see the improvement. You were getting more sleep, especially the last 3 or 4 days. Moving on to you, Jeremiah. Your biggest problem may have been this discrepancy in your sleep behavior on your work days versus your free days. So tell me, how did you do this week?
I think compared to the normal working days, usually 2 a.m., which I also switched to earlier, probably like 12 or 1.
Wow.
Yeah, and then same goes for my off days as well. I put it into my mindset like every day is like any other day. So I tried it out and it does work. And it's not as difficult as it seems to be.
You've shown us that you can change your sleep pattern to better suit your chronotype.
Yes.
So you were scored as a moderate evening type, and now you're going to bed shortly after midnight and getting more sleep than you were before. So this is really good news.
We figured out ways to adjust our sleep patterns to better suit our chronotypes. But I wonder if there's more we can do.
When I was a child, my grandmother told me that a hot cup of Milo was the best thing at bedtime. Is there any truth in that? I wonder what else we can eat or drink that might lull us into a good night's rest.
Dr. Richard Swinburne gives diet and sleep advice to some of Singapore's top athletes.
There's a lot of food on this table. How does all this relate to sleep?
A lot of it comes down to inflammation or anti-inflammation. So if we look at the colours of the rainbow here, all of these food, grapes and with tomatoes and greens and purples, it settles down inflammation in our body, and when we're inflamed, we don't sleep very well. The more colours you have in your diet, the better that you'll sleep.
How exactly does it do that?
Well, we have antioxidants in fruits and vegetables. It's what gives them their colour. So if we ingest or consume the antioxidants, we're also protected from free radical damage that also settles down that inflammation that we get from not sleeping enough.
Can we talk a little bit about this?
We like to have a little bit of rice. Science has shown that if you consume some carbohydrate about 4 hours before sleep, then you'll get to sleep faster. There's a really special oil in fish called omega-3, and we've found that helps promote sleep as well.
Right.
There's some functional foods in here that have proven quite special for sleep. One that I love is the kiwi. And kiwi are full of serotonin, which is our rest and digest hormone, and we use serotonin to make melatonin, and that's our sleep hormone.
Yeah.
Full of vitamin C as well, and loaded with folate, which is good for sleep. So it's a little sleep bomb here.
Wow, I never knew that this kiwi could help us sleep so well.
It's so magic, right?
It's a miracle fruit,
I
really.
know. And there's a miracle juice on the table too. This is called tart cherry or sour cherry. This beautiful little fruit makes melatonin to the same concentration as our pineal gland in the back of our brain.
So my grandmother was right, because she said that there's certain types of drinks we can drink before bedtime to help us rest better.
So wise. You've got tart cherry. We can drink milk before bed. We can drink banana tea. A banana is full of potassium and magnesium's like a balm for your nervous system. It just calms it all down, doesn't it?
Never ever tried banana tea in my life, so this is going to make me sleep better.
Yeah, it's about an hour before bed now.
It's a very warm, nice, nourishing feeling.
Yeah.
I like this.
So diet plays an important role in the quality of our sleep. But I wonder if technology can help too. I've been seeing ads promoting devices like these which promise a better night's sleep. Are these devices worth my money? I'm hoping sleep specialist Dr. Lau Hang Tuan can shed some light.
Control your breathing.
So Dr. Lau, I have with me some sleep devices and I want to see if they work. Let's start with this one.
So these earbuds help you to cancel noise. The way they do that is by producing a masking sound. People who are light sleepers that may be very sensitive to sleep are then able to have a quieter environment for them to fall asleep. The second function of these earbuds are, as you are asleep, they broadcast some soothing noises that also help you to maintain your sleep.
And over here, I have my second sleeping device here, but I have no idea how it works.
So these are what we call a sleep headband. What it does is that on the sides of your temple, there are sensors that are trying to track deep sleep.
Right.
So when the sensors pick up deep sleep, what they then do is to try and broadcast certain kinds of audio tones during deep sleep. This is done through microphones or speakers that are on your ear. And by doing that, it tries to promote a higher quality of deep sleep. Yeah, so a good 30% of people actually snore or choke in their sleep on their backs. And by having a device like this, which is a pillow that you put on your back, that helps you to control your sleeping so that you're then able to lie on your side. So it may not look like the highest tech device, but it's actually pretty effective. Do you want to try it on?
Yeah, I'd like to try it on. Yeah.
We're going to get you to lie down and see if you can turn.
All right, here we go. Wow, I really cannot turn over. Oh, goodness. Okay, that really works. If I'm in deep sleep, that would really prevent me from sleeping in a position which affects my breathing. It's fantastic.
I never realized how important getting good quality and quantity of sleep is. It can affect both our mental and physical health.
But we do stay in a stressful city that never sleeps. And so what I can do is this. Try to adjust my sleep pattern so that it supports my chronotype, invest in some technology, and enjoy a cup of banana tea before bed.